Hello again, and good morning to those of you who've just come on or just joined me. We're going to practice a kind of yoga that I haven't taught for a few weeks. Right at the beginning of lockdown, I taught a few classes like this and then changed the pace. So this is a kind of yoga called body sensing, and it is probably the gentlest type of gentle yoga there is, but it's very advanced in terms of its subtlety, in terms of the subtle awareness it invites you to bring into your practice. So I'm just going to say a couple of things, but why don't you come down onto your backs? It's very, very simple practice. And come to lying with your knees bent, soles of your feet on the floor. And when we practice body sensing, what we're really doing is tuning into the relationship between our physical body, between the muscles and bones, organs, all of our tissues, and the more subtle energy body, which is inseparable from the physical body. But what's interesting about the energy body, and if you just think about this in terms of feeling the heat of somebody be just beyond their skin, it's quite easy to appreciate that the energy body extends beyond the boundaries, the physical boundaries of the individual body. So what I'm going to invite you to do in this practice is to really open to the possibility of the energy body, and to allow yourself to imagine it and maybe even experience it in a very subtle physical practice. So taking a few moments now to drop into your body, to become present to the physical sensations of lying here this morning. Bringing your attention to the points of contact between the back of your body and the surface, beneath you. So you might feel down from the back of your head to the back of your shoulders and ribs, all the way down your arms to the back of your hands, all the way down your back to the back of your pelvis. And really feeling into the soles of your feet. Maybe you've got bare feet, or maybe not, but noticing sensation there. And being aware of sensations over the front of the body, maybe the light brush of air on your skin. Sensations of your clothes and cloth against your skin. And taking a moment to observe the body breathing. That gentle pulse. That gentle rise and fall of each breath in followed by each breath out. Feeling the body breathing itself with the morning, with the day. And being aware of sensations in the mouth, maybe softening the tongue a little, almost unhinging your jaws. Might even like to slide your tongue lightly in between your lips. Being aware of sensations around the nostrils and all the tissues around the eyes so that your eyes can soften. Stop searching with your eyes and allow them to rest back into your skull. Now shifting your attention specifically to your left arm. There's really very little to do, nowhere to go in this practice at all. I want you to feel into your left arm completely, from the shoulder all the way down to your fingertips. Maybe noticing it like you've never noticed it before. The weight of it, the temperature. And then can you begin to imagine the arm moving without actually moving it? Imagine the arm moving. The energy required, the visualization of your arm moving through space. And at some point, converting this imagination into a gentle lifting, first of your wrist and hand, then your lower arm and your elbow, until your upper arm peels off the floor. And your arm begins to move up into the space above you. And the beautiful thing about this style of yoga is that there's no specific shape to make. It's a completely fluid, intuitive practice. So you might find that you move a little with the hand, or maybe you take your arm a little bit out to the side. So you're really exploring sensations of the arm as you move through space, as you feel the energy of this arm moving, and eventually, but absolutely no hurry, eventually you'll find the arm drifting down to the floor behind your head. And it doesn't need to be straight, could be out to the side. You can take a few moments to feel the arm resting on the floor, completely alive, so sensitive to the subtleties of sensation, until you're ready to lift the arm again, very gently, millimeter by millimeter. Feeling the skin, feeling the gentle articulation of your joints as you explore, as you inquire. To the range of movement through space of this left arm. Completely curious, as if you feel you've only noticed this arm for the first time in your life. You're familiarizing yourself with sensation, the range of movement, until your left arm floats down by your side and rests against the floor. And in your own time, doing this all over again with the left arm. We're still on the left arm, so it's a very slow, subtle practice. Those people who are really adepts at this maybe have barely lifted their arm the first time. I'm moving a little bit faster to show you the range of movement possible. This is your own practice. And if your arm comes 1 millimeter off the floor this morning, that's incredible. Staying very easy with your breath, very easy with your breath. Maybe you become aware of the way in which the movements of your arm are creating the space around you. Where does your body end and the space around you begin? And eventually your left arm will be resting down beside your body again. And can you notice the difference between the left and the right side of the body now? Is there a difference between your left arm, shoulder, and the right side? And bringing your attention now to the right arm and feeling its weight, its temperature, all sensations. Before you move the arm, imagining the movement of the arm. Imagining the energy required to lift and move the arm over your head behind you. And I'll leave you to decide when to begin to peel the hand off the floor. When to begin to peel the forearm, the elbow, the upper arm off the floor. And how you want to move this arm around in space. Very tender practice. It's the quality of rebirth. It's the quality of innocence and a childlike curiosity about what's possible to feel. And I'm going to leave you with this right side to decide at what point your arm rests down on the floor behind your head, if at all. And at what point you decide to move back again. And you have the option of repeating the practice or taking as much time as you like with the first round. Saying very soft in the face, very soft and smooth in the breath. So gently and subtly alive this morning as you wake to the morning. Really taking your time. You might be coming towards the end of your first round or the end of your second round. And eventually, no hurry, your right arm will rest down by your body. Just allowing yourself to feel everything. And now noticing how both arms, both sides of the body feel. And feel the surface beneath you and the space above you, to the sides of you. And the quality of your breath. Now bringing your attention to your left leg, really feeling all sensation, the weight, the temperature, the sole of your foot on the floor. And before you move the left leg, simply imagine that movement. Try not to be in a hurry. Try to accept the slowness, the subtlety of this practice and the qualities this can bring to your day. And at some point you will begin to peel the left heel off the floor. Peel the sole of your foot off the floor until you're just on the toes, and then they lift. And your knee begins to lift in towards you. You might want to explore the space out to the left of the body. You might want to explore the space over to the right, over your body. And just like with the arm, can you take your time and be intuitive and creative with the way in which you move your left leg? You might want to straighten slowly and bend again. So you have all the space above you, to the left and to the right of you, to feel into the skin and the bones of the left leg and all the tissues. This can be very, very sensual, a very, very pleasurable simplicity to this practice, as you feel your body as if for the first time. And some of you may find it really lovely to lower the sole of your foot back down again to find the earth before you start again. So really take your time. There's nowhere to go. There's no posture to achieve in this practice. So I'm glad to see that Ali is here this morning, who introduced me to the term of post-ambition. And this is really post-ambitious yoga in its truest form. Take your time to feel into the hip socket, to feel the outside edges of your leg, the back, the left and the right sides, the front. Maybe noticing your ankles and your toes. Very lovely. I love this practice, and I don't do it enough myself because I, like a lot of people, feel I want more stretch, more strength, but this is so good. Eventually, there's no hurry, but eventually the sole of your left foot will find its way back down to the floor. You can notice now how the left leg, the left side of the body might feel a little bit different to the right. Just noticing for yourselves that difference. And when you're ready, bringing your attention to the right leg, the weight, the temperature, sensation. And don't be in a hurry to move the right leg. Imagine its movement. Imagine the energy required first. Really feeling the way in which your energy body exceeds your physical body, extends beyond your physical body. And then when you're ready, peeling the left heel, the sole, off the floor until your knee comes in towards you and begins that same exploration, that same inquiry, although it might be different, from the right side to the left. Can you let yourself become entirely absorbed in the feelings of movement and the space beyond the right leg? No hurry at all. No hurry at all. It's a lovely way of allowing yourself to soothingly feel into the hip socket, to soothingly be aware of the articulation of your knee joint. So for anybody in the practice today who has restricted movements and finds some postures less accessible than others, this body sensing practice is just the most beautiful thing to do. Although I should say it's beautiful for everybody. It brings your skin alive. And continue for a few more moments to explore the space around you in your way. Explore the movements and sensations in your way. It's quite possible that you lower your foot down and rest before moving again. Staying very close to the breath. And at some stage, absolutely no hurry to get there. Allowing the sole of your right foot to find the floor. What a lovely way to wake up in the morning. And then noticing both legs and the difference between the two, the sides of the body. And breathing. Can you feel a tingling? Can you feel more of a pulsation of life force in your legs now? And if you don't, that's absolutely fine as well. It's just a possibility that's there. Now placing your hands on your belly, taking your feet out so they're mat distance apart and your knees are knocking in towards each other, they're touching. And coming to a sense of the weight of your head against the mat, the back of your head. Almost feeling as if your head is dropping down through the floor, it's so heavy. And then with that quality of heaviness of weight, a lead weight, begin to very gently roll your head to the left and keep pressing down as you move over your skull And the range of movement will depend on your neck. You might come right over to the side, but you don't have to. You might have your eyes open or closed. And then at some point, with that weight of the head still pouring into the floor, move your head back to neutral. And moving over to the right. So with this kind of practice, it's so slow, we're not trying to synchronize movement with the breath. The breath continues naturally, steadily. And your attention is more on the sensations now of the head and the neck in relation to the floor beneath you. Can you take a few rounds like this, releasing everything into the neck and the head? Even feeling your throat and your collarbones, the whole of the front of your neck. And I'm reminding you, like at the beginning of the practice, to soften in the mouth and the jaws and the lips and the eyes, even softening deep into your inner ears, right into the brain. Until eventually you come to resting with your head neutral, noticing how you feel now. Noticing the skull, the head. Sensations on the skin of your face. And then when you're ready, bringing yourself to lying on your belly. With your arms outstretched, your palms facing down, and your forehead softly resting on the mat. And feel the whole of the front of your body really melting, really sinking into the floor. And bringing your attention to your left arm and your right leg. So we're going to make it a little bit more complicated now. Feeling into your left arm and your right leg before any movement, and imagining the energy required to lift the left arm and the right leg. Maybe a tiny bit, maybe a bit more. And then at some point, allowing the left arm and the right leg to lift. And if your chest and your head lift, that depends on you, they don't have to. You might stay up, you might float them down again. And take a pause when you're down before you lift again. So this is much more restricted movement. You're enlivening the muscles of your back. Excellent, excellent for anybody who suffers from any kind of back pain. This is a very gentle way of strengthening back muscles. And some of you might want to stay up a little bit and even move the arm and the leg around a little bit just to explore. You don't have to, of course. This might be quite a strain. Don't bring or allow strain into the practice. And taking a few more moments with the left arm and the right leg. Maybe reaching, maybe dropping down. until you rest a moment, all limbs on the floor, head on the floor. And coming to noticing your right arm and your left leg. The weight, the sensations, all of that before you come to any movement. And when you're ready, begin to lift the right arm and the left leg, but there's no hurry. Notice how it feels different maybe on this side. And you float the arm and leg up. You pause and you then float up again. Depending on you, you stay or not. Maybe reaching, just inquiring into your range of movement this morning. Your energy. Trying not to hold the breath, continuing to breathe softly, continuing to breathe naturally. You're just taking 1 or 2 more rounds, depending on your body. When you do bring that arm and leg down for the last time, sliding your hands underneath your forehead, you can become completely soft and rest the whole body. And asking yourself that question, where does my skin boundary end? And where does space begin? And sometimes there's a sense of an intermingling of the space outside your body and a quality of spaciousness inside the body, especially in a practice like this. Maybe you notice yourself intermingling inside and outside spaciousness. And then gently sliding your hands by your ribs and lifting yourself to an all-fours position. So your knees are underneath your hips, your hands are underneath your shoulders. Feel the floor beneath you now. Feel the space around you now. It's quite a trance type state I come into in this practice. And then allowing your belly to drop, allowing your sitting bones to open, and maybe a ripple up the front of your spine and your chest and throat open. And then allowing your tailbone to drop as your pelvis tilts back and the front of your body reaches in towards the spine. You might draw yourself back to pose of the child. So we're not synchronizing this with the breath. Don't worry about the breath for this practice, just breathing naturally. And these are the movements in your own time. Coming to all fours and allowing the pelvis to tilt forwards as your belly releases towards the floor. Your heart space and your throat open. You might want to stay there and feel the light on the front of the body. At some point you'll draw back in again, chin to your chest, tailbone down. Navel comes up towards the spine. And you find your way back to your heels, and it's fine to sway a bit, moving from side to side. Make it really your own, really intuitive as you move between these 3 poses. So simple. So very simple and yet so vital and vibrant and alive. Making whatever round you're on, or excuse me, wherever you are in this round, making this your last one. And then drawing your hands in towards your knees, very gently, very slowly, and curling under your toes so that you can sit back towards your heels, just for a moment sitting here. You don't even need to try and bring your heels to the floor. But eventually, beginning to lift your bottom. At some point, your heels will reach the floor. You come into a very dangling ragdoll forward fold. And feel the upper body cascading, pouring out of your pelvis. So soft, so heavy. And then very slowly beginning to bring yourself up, bone by bone. Keep the head and the arms and the shoulders dangling as you come up. As you come up to feel eventually your upright position. Make sure your head comes up last. What does it feel like to be vertical? And then very, very gently, it's not a strong twist, you're just looking over your right shoulder and beginning to drop the left shoulder forwards as you drape bone by bone down over the right side of the body. It's a little bit awkward maybe. Might bring a few new sensations into the body. And then you can peel up again bone by bone. And you come to the center. Turn ever so slightly to the left and allow your right shoulder to drop round to the left. As you drape bone by bone down to the left. I'd rather have more time to do this, but we're coming towards the end of the practice. We spent a long time on our backs. Just to give you a sense of being upright and fluid all at the same time. And eventually coming up and feeling the whole body. And taking your fingertips to your shoulders. And when you're ready, taking a little bit of a twist very slowly to the right. It's fine to lift up your left heel. It's not a strong twist. You can move back to the center. And you can twist to the left, lifting your right heel. And take a couple more rounds before we come down to rest. Just feeling this lovely, subtle twist in the spine. Taking your eyes with you. Again, feeling your body moving in space. Very soft. I can't remember which side we started, but let's say once you've gone one more time to the left, coming to a neutral position, arms by your sides. And close your eyes here and feel the body. Feel the support beneath your feet. Feel the whole of your skin. And for another time, or again, inquiring into where your body ends, your physical body ends, and where the space around you begins. And you might want to stay standing here a while longer. It's 8 o'clock. I would recommend that you come down when you finish standing to lying on your back very simply for 5 to 10 minutes to absorb the many benefits of that very, very subtle practice. And I thank you very, very much for joining me this morning. I'm going to put the screensaver on and start the Hatha Flow class at 8:10. I hope you have a lovely day. There's yin yoga tonight at 7 to 8:30. Will is doing a lunchtime relaxation at 1:30. And I teach Saturday refresh yoga at 9 in the morning tomorrow. Thank you, everybody. I hope you enjoyed that as much as I did.